Hi. Whether you think you can or think you can't, either way, you are right. Somebody famous said that once.
Or a few people did.
Yeah, a few people did.
So today we're going to be talking about the most important aspect of healing. But before we dive right in, let's just recap about what we talked about last week.
Yeah, so if some of you, if you haven't watched last week's video, I encourage you to go back. But for those of you who are watching for the first time, last week we talked about the diagnosis of fibromyalgia. We talked about a lot of the symptoms that can be associated with that diagnosis and how frustrating it can be because it can actually have huge effects on your overall life, your quality of life. So yeah, it can be very frustrating. What else?
We talked about the misconceptions around fibromyalgia, whether you've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia or you think you have fibromyalgia and you haven't been diagnosed, or you've been misdiagnosed. It can be really frustrating because there's, you know, if you go the medical route, people aren't really happy with the results they're getting so far.
I think the overall resounding feeling for the fibromyalgia community is that they're just not happy with the solutions that they're being offered with right now. Mm-hmm. In most cases, it's medications which really don't work that well, and we know that they can be very dangerous. So there's that, and they're searching for another solution.
Yeah.
Right? They're looking for answers. Statistically, there's a lot of people suffering. I mean, over 6%
of people worldwide have fibromyalgia. Over 70% of them are women, although 30% are men.
But that's 450 million sufferers with fibromyalgia that have been diagnosed all over the world. And we know that people have a lot of questions because we know that over 1 million people are Googling online the word fibromyalgia. Yeah. So again, they have a lot of questions, they're looking for answers. So that's one of our goals, is to aim to provide a lot of those answers. We've
create an online community so that we can all work together. You know, in practice, we talk about the spectrum of health when really it's...
By the way, for those of you who are watching for the first time, I'm Dr. Casey.
And I'm Dr. Morgan.
We've been in practice as doctors of natural health for the last 10 years. We've definitely seen so many cases of some people suffering with fibromyalgia and just have had huge transformations. But they also know other people who are suffering that need help that are nowhere near our clinic. Mm-hmm. So we've decided to create this community.
Yeah, this online community. And so, I mean, like I was saying, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And we want to create a community so we can all help each other with accountability, resources, tools in one place to help us all move in the right direction. I was talking about the spectrum of health, like between absolute death and the best health, optimal health, 100%. Everybody is somewhere different on this spectrum, but we're all on the spectrum. And where we sit is not necessarily the most important part. Which direction we're going in is the most important part. So we have created an environment and a community so we can all work together and move in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what do you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about mindset. I think that for a lot of people it's frustrating because you may have been going to doctor after doctor, therapists, you might be talking to friends and family, and you might have heard this more than once, and unfortunately we see it...
Wait, what is it? It's all in your head.
Yeah. Have you heard that?
Many of you have been told it's all in your head. We're here today to tell you it is absolutely not in your head. Oh, we got someone coming through? No problem. No problem. So this is what happens when you're doing Facebook Live. Oh, it's okay. You went behind the camera. No problem.
So it's
not in your head. It's absolutely real. The symptoms that you're feeling are 100% real, and you truly are experiencing them.
Yeah.
But what is in your head?
What is in your head is the ability to rewire your thought pattern. And that is huge. Like you have the power of your perception to change your experience and how you perceive the world. So in other words, how you look at something, how you perceive an experience is going to have a huge impact on how your body actually responds and how you feel. So when you feel pain, that's an output from the brain. That's not necessarily always an input from the external environment. Right. So you have a great example that you've used.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a million different types of examples, but let's just say as a child, you accidentally put your hand on top of the stove and the element was on and you burnt your hand, and that can be very traumatizing for a child. But and as life goes on, for that person, they may actually, every time they go near that hot element and you just seeing it brings them back to that experience, and without touching the element, they already get that sensation of pain.
And so for someone with fibromyalgia, even something like a light touch can be perceived as a very painful experience. Now, traumas, whether it be physical or emotional traumas, whether it be from childhood, recent past, or present, can actually affect your physiology and how your body responds. So even when we connect to what might be a negative emotion,
right,
like fear,
anger, resentment,
anxiety,
just general stress, guilt.
Yep.
You know? So the whole point here is that there is a neurological implication to your beliefs and your perception.
And I think this, to make it more real for you and so you can relate, something that we've all experienced is that when you're under stress, you feel your shoulders tense up, your low back starts to cramp. You might find that the symptoms you've been experiencing are getting worse. So if you've been getting headaches, they're stronger, they're more frequent, numbness, tingling, exhaustion.
And it's not just our patients. I mean, we both dealt with chronic injuries,
yes,
pain injuries in the past, and we know, and sometimes you don't even realize you're stressed. You're just super busy. But that's stress, and you'll notice it has an effect on your ability to heal and recover, and your symptoms just start to flare up.
Yeah. And so we want to talk about some things that you can start to do to actually change your perception so that you can heal faster. So you can remove some of these interferences so you can heal faster. And we were talking about some of the things that people look at when they want to get better, or they want to heal, or exercise.
Nutrition. You're taking care of your nervous system,
removing toxins from your
environment or your house.
And they're all really important. And when you're experiencing with something with fibromyalgia, it may just be one thing or it might be all of these things. And so it's better to look at all of them, but the number one thing that you need to focus on is your mindset. What's going on between your ears?
Okay. And once you get your mindset into alignment, all the changes you want to make in those other areas are going to fall into place.
Yeah. So the first thing we want to focus on is gratitude. And I'm sure that you've heard of gratitude before because it's a time-tested thing. When you're in a state of gratitude, you cannot be fearful. You cannot be angry. If you're in a true state of gratitude, you won't be experiencing these negative thoughts that are bringing on and making your symptoms worse.
Right.
So let's talk about what you can do.
All right. So just so you know, from a clinical perspective,
yeah,
some of the greatest miracles that have occurred in our clinic, the common denominator for all of those cases is that those patients truly worked on their mindset and truly tapped into the benefits of being in a state of gratitude.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Has a huge impact on your healing. And that's why it's one of the things that we're driving home when we talk about and address first things first with our patients.
So practical application?
Hey, the gratitude journal. So if you have a gratitude journal or you've worked with gratitude exercises before, please engage, communicate with us. We're a community, we're working together, and it's important that people can relate. So go ahead and write a comment, let us know how gratitude journals have served you. But some gratitude journaling is something that we've been doing for a really long time and been exposed to since childhood. So not only is it has a huge practice, an implication in our practice, but in our own lives as well.
And health.
Yeah, and the first thing you want to do is get a journal that's just for your gratitude. It's your gratitude journal. It's not one scrap piece of paper or a post-it note that you found. It's not an old book that you have your grocery list in or your to-do list. It is your gratitude journal, and it's something that you're going to have in one spot, whether it's the bedside table or a journaling spot in your house. And keep it there so that you can be consistent and create a routine around journaling. That's the most important thing, is that you're consistent with it.
And I would love to hear about your experiences. So some of you, if you're doing this already, please comment and let us know how it's going. If you're just starting to try this, let us know if it's going well. Also, let us know if this is really hard. I have to be honest with you. When I first started doing this, I was in such a dark, really miserable place that for me to even write down 3 things, maybe even one thing that I was actually grateful for, it would take me hours to do that. I was pretty much throwing myself a pity party. But eventually you get through it, and if you stay consistent and make this a daily practice, it becomes so easy. And it's something you just document at night, and the best thing you can do every morning is just read through the things you're grateful for.
So you start your day off remembering what you're grateful for. And so what are you grateful for? Some people might be struggling. They might be taking an hour and a half to find 3 things in their day that they're grateful for. Someone else might take 2 seconds. Yeah. So let's give them some examples.
I mean, some days I'm not joking. I'm just grateful that I got to wake up that day. I'm grateful my eyes open and I'm still alive.
You might be grateful that you had the opportunity to have 2 amazing, healthy, wholesome meals that day. You might be grateful that you were able to go outside. Your symptoms didn't hold you back, or your environment didn't hold you back. The weather was nice enough. You can go outside and enjoy the sun. You could hear the birds chirping, and that 5 minutes was a highlight of your day.
And as bad as your symptoms are, and as tough as that day may be, I mean, I would still be grateful. I still have my loving family. I have my friends. And you know what? When I think about those things, I start to feel better.
Yeah, and you're grateful to spend time with family and friends, or get to connect with an old friend. So there's also plenty of resources online. If you Google a gratitude list or things to be grateful for, maybe some other people can motivate you and inspire you to acknowledge some of these things that you have in your life that you didn't know or you haven't been able to be grateful for because you didn't even think that it's something that's that special. So one of the nice things about the gratitude journal, like Dr. Casey says, is when you go into a dark season, because life is ebb and flows. So you can always go back to the journal, open it up. One day you're going to have a full journal, or you'll have a pile of full journals, and you can just flip through it. And it's also just nice to have them as memories as well.
Absolutely. So this is just one aspect of mindset. I mean, we could talk about affirmations or recognizing your accomplishments, and maybe we'll delve into that in one of the next videos. But I guess the most important point is this is the first thing that you need to get right and get in place, because we're going to get into nutrition. We're going to talk about exercise, alignment of your body, the nervous system, toxicity in your environment. We're going to talk about all that stuff. But you need to get this right first, and then all of that stuff will take care of itself.
So today's goal, go get a gratitude journal, or find a journal around your house. Create your gratitude journal, and tonight write 3 things you're grateful for. You can always come back to this video and share them if you want with us, or let us know how it went. Was it easy? Was it difficult? How long did it take you? Let's work together as a team so we're all moving in the right direction.
Comments, questions, keep typing them after we stop going live. We'll get to them and we'll talk about them in the future videos. I see Brandy there. Hello. Anything else?
No, I'm very happy. I'm excited to hear how it goes with everybody's gratitude journal.
We'll see you soon.